The intellectual self-mutilation of the left is not a new trend. This condition manifested itself in the past and continues to evolve. Michel Foucault, a renowned French philosopher, gave us a unique demonstration of an intellectual failure born out of what was supposed to be a brilliant mind. Foucault, a trained academic, fell prey to a charming event in history he witnessed and was seduced by its false promises. That event, my friends, is none other than the Iranian Islamic Revolution. On the eve of the Iranian Islamic Revolution, Foucault traveled to Iran twice and wrote several reports for the Corriere della Sera newspaper. He expressed deep sympathy and enthusiastically praised the Islamic Revolution. Back in France, he was one of the journalists visiting Ayatollah Khomeini before he returned to Tehran in 1979 to execute his Machiavellian revolutionary plot to trap the Iranian people inside of an Islamic asylum, crushing the hopes of millions while feeling nothing as he replied to Peter Jennings' question. Foucault was criticized by almost everyone in the media as well as by Iranian immigrants and expatriates, but he argued that Islamism is becoming a political presence that must be treated respectfully. To Foucault, this new revolution was exotic, and what makes it fascinating lies within its ambiguous nature. As a thinker and historian of ideas, Foucault failed miserably to see through the thin veil of Islamic strategy deployed by Khomeini and his acolytes. The same shape-shifting methods used today in the West by the Muslim Brotherhood and its subsidiaries. The same tactics and elusive maneuvers used by Muslim preachers and Islamic dawah throughout college campuses in the West. It is almost impossible to ignore Foucault's intellectual suicide in pursuit of anything revolutionary wielding a middle anarchy finger to authority. Despite his academic skills and mature mind, he couldn't escape such adolescent tendencies still living within him. Foucault found his romantic inspiration in the sight of the Iranian mullah speaking to the faithful with a gun by his side, a new type of iconography luring him beyond common sense and reason. He couldn't resist his own orgasmic admiration to the cult of death, as he learned that death was holier than life. Celebrating the martyr is a goal for itself. He found in this revolution and its spiritual clutches a confirmation to his own destructive tendencies. Some modern charlatans remain dedicated to defending Foucault, while his 13 essays continue to be used as a shield in the Islamic world against any criticism, while upholding them as proof of some genius testimony to the Islamic miracle. Foucault's struggle with power and its nature blinded him from seeing the danger of a dogmatic power of Islam, a form of power he wasn't familiar with. He failed to understand Islamism because he was blinded by his conviction that Enlightenment rationality has not closed the gate of unknown possibilities for human societies. Speaking from a position of ignorance, Foucault proclaimed that the return of the Imam is made possible by the people. His ignorance of the Islamic theology, and in this case, the Shia version, left him drowning in buffooneries of his own making claims contradicting the theological requirement of the mythical return of the 12th Imam within the settings of the end of the world. Of course, these are merely ravings and delusions of a failed prophet. Foucault missed another chance to make a proper and accurate diagnostic when he argued that the use of Islamic government statement within this revolution does not necessarily mean a political system. We can measure his arrogant miscalculation by the lives, especially women's lives, that were crushed in the name of this Islamic government. Every life lost because of an exposed curl. There lies the fragile core of the left, fighting a scarecrow in the middle of the day, leaving the wolves to rule the night. I leave you with this quote from Foucault's article, A Powder Keg Called Islam, first published in Corriere della Sera, February 13th, 1979. Indeed, it is also important to recognize that the demand for the legitimate rights of the Palestinian people has hardly stirred the Arab peoples. What would happen if this cause experienced the dynamism of an Islamic movement, something much stronger than the effect of giving it a Marxist, Leninist, or Maoist character? Additionally, how strong would Khomeini's religious movement become if it were to put forward the liberation of Palestine as its objective? The Jordan no longer flows very far from Iran. Until next time, don't be afraid to ask,